morning, everyone. So when you're working remotely today, you're going to get an introduction to what parabolas are really useful for. So on your first slide, you'll see these points, and it's saying create a best fit line. So you'll notice there's a slight curve here, but your goal is to try and fit a line that matches the points as best as possible. Like something like this, probably not a good fit because it hardly hits any of the points. So for that one, you're just going to do your best to match a line. This next slide is just going to show you kind of the issue with trying to fit that line. Obviously, the more you see, the more you're going to realize that your line can't possibly fit a curve. But you're going to see in this background, there's a situation happening. So by the time you get to slide 3, it's essentially arguing that having a quadratic relationship, which really means, remember, we have that upside down curve shape. We're going to need that for things like, throwing something in the air, because things don't go forever. They'll eventually fall back down. All right. So what you're going to see is it's going to say shot 1, predict. So when I hit play, obviously I can see that this person's taken a basketball shot, and I can see their trajectory, but then it's going to pause. So the question is, let's say this keeps going, is he going to make the shot or is he going to miss? And so my prediction, who the heck knows, I'll just say it looks pretty good. So maybe it'll go in, and I'll submit. All right, you're going to do that for a series of shots. All right, but then you're going to get to a spot that says analyze. So if I go here, my goal is to try and drag the points to do my best to fit the shot. So for example, I might say in this one, that something like that is a pretty good model for his shot. And based on that, tracing the curve, it sure looks like that might be a perfect shot. And so once again, I'm going to say in, but even though your guess might have been in previously, if the curve suggests otherwise, you can always say out instead. All right, once again, I'm going to submit. You're going to have a series of those to do for all the shots you had predicted earlier. And then finally, it's going to ask which of your answers do you have more confidence in? The ones where you simply predicted by estimating, or when you used your parabolas? And finally, you're going to get a chance to see, were you right or were you wrong? All right, and eventually you're going to see kind of a survey that shows how many people got predictions right versus how many got their answers right based on the parabola. Then for extensions, all that's happening is it's going to ask you a few questions, do your best to answer them, and then finally, you'll be done. So I know the total number of slides looks intimidating, but it's really not too bad. The big takeaway here is I want you to understand that we're learning parabolas because eventually we're going to model with them, because situations where there's a rise and fall, those are going to be modeled by parabolas. So give that a go, and then when I see you for our next lesson after your quiz on Monday or Tuesday, we're going to really dive into how can we create these equations from scratch versus having a point to drag. All right, definitely email me if you have questions. Otherwise, enjoy this lesson.